All right. Welcome, everyone. Broadcasting live from the city of Edmonton. This is going to be a great opportunity for people to learn about how they can create their own economy, especially when it looks like the economy is crashing. The cool part about this kind of work, when you have the ability to create your own economy, you have another level of sovereignty. You have another aspect of your life that you have governance over. And so that's why it's included in a lot of my work because it supports us in being able to have more freedom. And whether that's financial freedom or time freedom, relationship freedom, whatever it is that you're after, economics can make a big difference. We do live in a world of exchange, and those exchanges, we want them to be as equitable as possible. And this is going to be fairly short. It's not going to be super long, but we're going to be dealing with various aspects of business ownership, especially small business ownership, because that is the lifeblood of any healthy economy. And we want to make sure that that's as supported as possible. So thank you to everybody that is coming online to come and check this out. We've got some people that have said that they're tuning in from Europe today. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're just going to get started. The first thing that we need to address in this conversation is the style of economy that we're headed into, the way that this economy is evolving is not one of like what we're familiar with. It's going to be very different. In fact, you can run it today. If you were to utilize these tools, you'll do better within this old realm of monetary system. But this is going to be how we have to do business in the future and communicate what it is that we do. You are in this new economy, the direction that we're headed. You are not going to get paid if you are not um, if you're not fulfilling on the intention that you have to be of service to someone else. And in fact, to the degree that you fulfill on your intention, that you communicate with others, that is what's going to determine whether or not you are getting paid, whether or not you can have earnings, whether or not you can invoice people. And it's a very unique world that we're headed into as a result of technologies that are coming out, as a result of the collapse of an old currency and a rise of a new one. These are all indicators that this is the type of direction that people need to go in their own businesses in order to establish a clientele, in order to have people want to contribute to your work. You just excuse me for 1 second. Okay, awesome. So let's first address that. This idea of communicating your intention. People, I've got some comments. Leah, thanks so much for coming on. Joyce, great to have you on. I've got a little bit of a sniffle today. I don't know why. It might be just the weather. I don't know, but or it could be some of the candy that I had from Halloween. But so yeah, the intention that you have to be of service, that is what we need to address first of all. Now, if you don't have a business already, then that's something that we can talk about real quickly, and it doesn't take long to figure out what business you should be in. A lot of people overcomplicate this. They think, oh well, I don't have a tradable skill, or I don't have a product that I've made to be able to be of service to someone else. And it's simply a mindset issue. We all have incredible value to our communities. There is nothing that there there's no way that you don't have something that can help people. In fact, what you're doing right now, if you don't have your own business and maybe you're employed, you're doing something to assist someone else. You're being of service to somebody. Maybe it's even to your employer. That is a tradable skill that you have. Now, I'll give you an example. Someone that I talked to while I was on tour this summer, they said, "Oh, well, I work in a mail room for Canada Post. That's not a tradable skill." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? When all of this goes to hell in a handbasket, we're going to need people to organize messages that are being sent back and forth. Like, this is not this is very much a tradable skill. You just need to position yourself for when the day comes that your job is no longer there. So start working with your community now so that when your job security is no longer sufficient, you can transition easily enough into your community in that role. Your role will be to help organize messages that are being sent around. And that might even look different than paper messages or envelopes. Maybe you'll be helping people out with the coordination of communication online. And it's not much different. You've got addresses that need to be relayed. You can help out a community with their communication. And you don't have to have tons of tech experience either. So you're transitioning. You may have to learn some new skills and to add on to what you currently have. But your mindset, the way that your mind works in the work that you're doing, can complement a community basically right out of the gate. Now, if you don't have something, or maybe you don't like your job, let's use the example of a mail room, someone who's sorting mail for Canada Post. Maybe they don't like their job at all. Well, then chances are they should probably find something that they do like. I am confident that people have interests, people have aspirations that they feel is valuable and even interesting enough for them to do it all day long. And those are the things that we want to start. Okay, well, let's explore what that is. What does that look like? For some people, it's what they love, something they absolutely love to do. There's a couple here in Edmonton. She's a teacher and he works in the oil field. But when they're home, they start working on some woodwork, and they just like to do that on the side. But they want to be able to have that be their thing, and so they're developing that. Like they're starting to work with some wood and building some projects and sharing that on Instagram right now. And it's not a business at the moment, but they're already getting it started, and they're learning about, okay, well, what is it that people are interested in when it comes to maybe it's a home decor that is made of wood, or maybe it's furniture. They're still kind of experimenting what that needs to look like, but they had a great passion for it, and they're turning that passion. They're working on that passion becoming something that they can use in their community for trade. And that allows them to start right now. They've got their job security. They're doing okay, but that gives them the security to be able to work on the thing that they would absolutely love to do with their lives. And so that's one way that you can find out what you're supposed to be doing. Look for your passions. But there's another way, and that is to look at what you hate. Find out what you just can't tolerate anymore. Just you're sick and tired of it. I had a conversation a couple weeks. No, that was actually around the beginning of October. There was a lady who is in Arizona, and she has a handicapped son, and she has a very, very difficult time finding activities where she can take him, and it's not going to be awkward for other people who are there. And those types of events, they're so far and few between that it's difficult for her to find things to do with her disabled son. Severely mentally handicapped, very, very, I don't know what you call that, very rudimentary development. And so she's had enough. She's had it up to here. It's like, why are people like my son being disenfranchised from getting out there and being sociable, being social with others? And so she is going to start her own directory of activities that are out there, because the activities are there. It's just Not people don't know about it. That it's not well marketed. It's not well presented. And so she can't stand that anymore. That's something that she doesn't like about her reality, and she's going forward and making a difference. She's going forward and actually producing what she wishes the market could provide. And that is another way that you can find out what you're supposed to be doing. Now, once you have something, maybe you already have a business, or maybe you're still looking. The next thing is we have to figure out, okay, so now in order for us to be adequately compensated for our work, we need to fulfill on an intention. Well, what is that intention? The intention would be considered your offer. This is what you would like to do for people. This is how you can see you can help people. That is that's a powerful position. Once you have that in your hand, it's a powerful position to have. But you don't want to start making the mistakes that a lot of people do, and that is looking to see what. Well, let's say for instance, I'm a massage therapist. Well, as a massage therapist, the tendency for people to do is to look for what other massage therapists say that they do. How do they communicate their intention to help people? What's their offering look like? And then they compare theirs to, and they use that one as kind of a benchmark. This is how I need to talk about what I'm doing. But that's actually not the way you want to do it. You don't want to just copy what other people are doing, because, well, then you're basically saying that your business isn't worth more, or it doesn't have a unique offer compared to what someone else is offering. And if you don't have a unique offer, if you don't have something where people feel, oh man, that's cool, that's a great offering. If they don't feel that it's a great offering, they're not going to feel inspired to want to do business with you. And if, for lack of a better description, imagine they're going to the Yellow Pages, and this is really a kind of a real life situation. You go into the Yellow Pages to look up plumbers, for example. All the plumbers have very much the same messaging. They fix toilets and sinks and leaks and bursts and all. They're just doing the same thing that all the other plumbers are doing. And they're not communicating anything unique about what they are doing. Massage therapists, it's important that they distinguish themselves. And usually massage therapists have some sort of speciality where this is, I'm into sports therapy. And so sports, maybe myofascial release, or maybe I'm better at, a Japanese style massage, or whatever. You have your specialities that you want to be able to capitalize on. You want to be able to show how this is much different. And in order to do that, you need to start associating with the needs of your target market, the people that you can help the most with the least effort. These are the people that are going to be more inclined to pay you to help them, because it's right up their alley. This is exactly what they want. So you want to find kind of that, in online marketing, they call it the niche. This is your thing. This is where you just fit in perfectly into the market. It's like you can have a lot of people. Very, very competitive market would be like building websites. Very, very competitive market. There's incredible amounts of people that can build websites for cheap, $500, $200. And then you've got people who are building $4,500 websites. Why is there such a big, huge difference? Well, there's a lot of unique different offers out there. Some of them are just plug and play. It's like, you want a website? What's the name of your business? What colors do you like? And they can build something in like half a day. And it's just templated, and then boom, you just go ahead and fill in the blanks on whatever your business is, put your phone number in, all that stuff. That's one way to do it. And that's a nice cheap website, gets you up and going nice and quick. Probably going to be on Wix or Square, something like that. But then if you have something that you are you're wanting to provide a more unique experience where it's not so templated, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money. The reason I bring this up is because people who build websites, typically speaking, they find a niche that they really, really like. This is what I want to focus on when it comes to building websites. And maybe it's personal gym, a personal trainer and their gym. Maybe it's my websites, they focus on nutritionists. So I work with nutritionists to help build their brand online. And or maybe it's maybe it's a plumber, maybe it's a massage therapist, maybe it's whatever the case may be. The idea behind that is that once you become more specific in what it is that your offer is, you actually have a greater chance of increasing your revenues. Because if you're just super general, it's like, oh yeah, I can help anybody with a website. Well, uh, there's kind of a saying. It's like um, if you're too broad in general, it's like nobody really knows whether or not you can provide them with the help that they need. If you're very specific, it's easier for you to create messaging that helps communicate your intention. If it's too general, it's difficult for your intention to be communicated effectively. Does that make sense? Please definitely comment. We're live on YouTube, so definitely feel free to comment in this little studio that I'm using. I can see the comments coming live, so ask lots of questions. And probably what we'll do is we'll make kind of a series out of this. I am going to be doing an online course as well. So people who have businesses, or maybe they want to get started with their business, they want to learn how to bootstrap that, or if they want to increase their revenue, definitely feel free to reach out to me. We can talk about you becoming a part of that online course. But I want to continue doing things like this to help people for free as well. So probably do like a series, and more than I would love it if people who have questions about promoting their business, or figuring out how they can generate some more revenue using tools and resources for marketing, I would love to host you on here and that way we can actually kind of put you in the hot seat and help you immediately on the spot. And what that does is it helps other people as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, send me an email. Let me know what it is that you're working on, and then we'll sort out a time. We'll sort out a time where we talk about your business and how we can get it generating more revenue. But now, back to this idea of communicating your intention. I'm going to share with you an example, and this is something that I've used for years. This is something that I've learned from back 2011, 2012, when I first got started with my own firm, from my mentors. And it's this idea of being able to it's this idea of being able to touch, move, and inspire people with your words. And the key to this, folks, and this is the thing. A lot of people think, well, I'm not good at selling what I do. I'm not good at talking about how I do things. And people get turned off because they feel I'm too salesy, or I'm afraid of sounding too salesy. I'm going to share with you how to talk about your intention without ever sounding salesy. It's kind of like, you're here on this live YouTube right now, and I'm technically selling what I do. I'm giving you a preview of what it's like to work with me. And this preview is not something that I'm doing to try to get you to be my customer. I'm simply showing you this is what it's like to work with me, and I have an offer. If you would like to work with me further, we can do that. But I'm not being salesy about it. I'm just going to show you how I would do things, and I'm going to show you some tips that you can take into your own business, and you can start applying that tomorrow if you want. You don't need me to do the things that I'm going to teach you today, and that's how I communicate my intention to help. And then the offering is, well, if you would like to learn more, come to more events, and let me put your business in the hot seat, and we can work together live and settle those, get past those hurdles that you might be experiencing. Now, when it comes to the communication of what it is that you're doing, I'm going to use this beautiful analogy of how people's brains work in order to meet them where they're at, and to share with them what it is that you're doing without ever coming across as salesy or anything like that. This is how to think. I want you to imagine for a moment, a friend or a close associate that and get to know their name, or think of their name, and just think of what they drive. What is it that they drive? an example would be like a red Toyota Tercel. I don't know what's a Camry. Camry's, I think Tercel, they just stopped making those. So you have a friend, they got a red Tercel. I'll call them Bob, and Bob is, if you were to see Bob driving, say you're on White Avenue or in whatever city that you're in, you see your friend's car driving by, the first thing that pops into your mind is, oh, there's Bob, or you would fill in the blank to whatever name that you have come up with, and your immediate reaction when you see that car is to check to see whether or not it's actually Bob, because there could be other red Camrys out there. So you see the car, and the first instinct that you don't even think about it, you're looking to see whether or not that's Bob. And if it's Bob, then the next thing that you do instinctively, again, you don't think about it. It's not like you have to convince yourself to do this. You wave at him, or maybe if you're driving, maybe you'll honk your horn, or maybe he's driving by too fast and he would never see you, and so you text, right? You get his attention in some way, and then after that, he responds. So he sees you and waves back, or honks his horn back, or texts you and says, "Oh, that's cool. You saw me on White Ave," or whatever your common street is. And that closes the entire loop, where it's like, oh, you go about your day thinking to yourself, that's cool. I got to see Bob driving his red Camry down the street. Folks, I use that example. I know it's simplistic and it's kind of a boring story, but we can relate to how that story plays out. And how that story plays out is actually how our brains work. You see, our brain always is looking for something that is either familiar, problematic, or it would be familiar, problematic, oh my goodness, or obscure. I forgot there for a second. So if something is obscure, we're going to be like, oh, what's that? Our brain is always scanning. It's called the reticular activating system. It's what it's scanning for. It's scanning for something that would capture our attention. Always. So familiar, problematic, or obscure. Most advertising that's out there is extremely obscure. I'll give you a great example. If you're driving along and you see a billboard and it's got a lizard on a phone, that's obscure. Lizards don't talk on phones. But yet there it is. And so it's obscure, so it captures your attention. And then what happens is that your brain starts looking for qualifying information. No different than when you saw the red Camry or whatever the vehicle is that your friend drives. You are automatically going to want to check to see whether or not that's something that's related to you, right? Like the red Camry. Oh, there's Bob's car. Oh, well, it might not be Bob. So you look for qualifying information to see whether or not that's actually Bob driving the car. And if it is, then yeah, you're going to reach out and communicate. But what happens with that billboard, with the lizard on the phone? It's obscure. So our brain's like, oh, look, lizard on the phone. And we look for the qualifying information and we see, oh, wait a minute, that's for Geico, the insurance company. 15 minutes can save you $15 or more, or whatever it is. That brand, what they do, their offering has absolutely nothing to do with what captured the attention. I mean, and what do we do when we're driving along and we see those billboards? When we realize that what's capturing our attention isn't connected to what the product or service is, we start to disconnect from that brand, from that advertisement. We just go along doing whatever we're doing before, driving, eating our burger, whatever. And that's how our brains work. And so when we go ahead and say, oh, well, I'm just going to go ahead and use what that other business owner is using for their marketing, because I basically offer the same thing, I can tell you right now that most people's marketing is not good enough for you to use and distinguish yourself. In fact, chances are the things that you're doing might be capturing people's attention, where they're like looking at what it is that you're doing, because you put a nice photo on Facebook or Instagram or whatever else. Or you've got a nice poster at the coffee shop in your your local town, but it might capture people's attention, but it might not actually connect them. It's like the car. If it's not Bob driving the car, after you see that red Camry go by, you're like looking to see if it's Bob, and it's not him. It's over. Like the connection isn't there. It's when Bob is there that we are actually connected and we do something about it. And that is, we reach out, go ahead, text, or we try to communicate in some way. Maybe you're waving. I did a presentation once when I gave this description. He goes, "Well, I would just give Bob the finger." It's still communication. I don't agree with that, but maybe they're just doing it out of fun. But that is what we're doing. Instinctively, after that connection has been made, we're looking for more communication. If you were, in fact, interested in getting new home insurance or vehicle insurance, and you saw the Geico ad, you'd be more interested in what's going on, because it's like, oh yeah, that's right, Geico. Well, you know what? I should probably go and see what their quotes would be like. That's how our brains work. But if you don't have any interest in getting insurance, or if you're not ready for it, or if your plan's not up or whatever else, that advertisement is a waste of money on you. What we want to be able to say, what we want to be able to do as business owners is we want to construct our messaging so that it fits where people are, so that it actually connects with them. And I'll give you a great example. And we'll use the massage therapist example. Massage therapists, typically, they just have a laundry list of all the things that they do. Right? Yeah, you've got tight muscles, or you've got energy block here, or whatever the case may be. It's not wrong. In fact, it's probably true. But because that's what a lot of other massage therapists do, it's too general. It doesn't give enough context of specifics that you can do. And so let's use this example as this whole this vehicle, this idea of the red Camry going by, and I'm going to walk through with you what I call the 4 C's. The process that we went through with that whole car was actually what I call the 4 C's, and that methodology is what you want to employ in your marketing, so that when you're talking about your business, it's an effortless conversation that goes forward for people to experience. It's almost like a brand experience that they're getting, similar to what you're seeing here. I give all of my marketing tips away for free. All the emails that you get, I'm using the same methodology. I'm using the same formula. Why? Because we want more involvement. We want more communities coming together. We want more interaction with people around the nation and have them connect with each other to galvanize our communities and the relationships that we have with others. So I construct my emails in such a way to guide people towards that end. And what you're watching right now, same idea. I'm using this same formula with that car, right? When that car goes by, it captures your attention. That's the first C. And then the next thing that does is you're looking for that qualifying information to see whether or not that car is actually connected to you. So that's the second C. And then what you do, if it does connect, then you're looking to communicate. That's the third C. And what that happens is that closes the loop, where everybody is like, oh, okay, great, awesome. I got to share what it is that I'm doing because you were interested in how it was connected to you. That closes the loop. That's the fourth term, or the close. So you capture, connect, communicate, and close. Now, the things that capture our attention are various. And so when you're wanting to communicate, let's say, for instance, you're a massage therapist, you want to be able to communicate what it is that you're doing. You don't want to start with number 2. That's what happens when we start doing this laundry list idea. And I just got a notice saying that my internet connection was a little unstable. Okay, it says it's better now. So you don't want to start off with communicate, which is that laundry list of things that you do. You want to start off with something that captures people's attention. Now, one thing that you might do, especially if it's winter outside like it is here, you might talk about how if you have a slip or fall, you might need to go and get a massage because I got a sore muscle from that fall, right? So what you could do as a massage therapist is to capture someone's attention, is to have something that they're familiar with, which would be an injury, maybe falling on the sidewalk, or maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's just like you were shoveling the sidewalk. And so by shoveling it, you're getting sore. You're using their muscles, and it's great to go and get that massage. So now you've got something. You've got a topic of interest, a topic that people can that would capture their attention because it's familiar to them. Remember that reticular activating system is looking for something that's problematic, familiar, or obscure. And so if you in your messaging, and it doesn't have to be on Facebook or Instagram, you can use those tools if you want, but regardless of what tool you're using, you can be rest assured that if you're capturing people's attention properly and making sure that what captures their attention is actually connected to what you're offering, that you will have the opportunity to communicate what it is that you do. So again, in your messaging, you can say, how when you're shoveling the sidewalk and you got that kind of that little knot in the side of your back there, like what is that called, the deltoids? That area there definitely needs to be massaged out in order for you to not have that pain ongoing. So you get that more mobility. So you can have, and see what I'm doing. I'm actually going a little too fast there, but what you've done is that you've helped people see and associate that what you do can help something that they are facing, a problem that they're having. There's the problematic is, oh yeah, I've got this sore muscle. This thing that they're familiar with is that they were shoveling the sidewalk this morning. Now that presents the opportunity, because if you can do that, then automatically people are going to want that communication. They're going to want to reach out and wave at Bob. They're going to want to text. They're going to want to do something to engage that third C, the communication, because you captured their attention and you connected to something that they are familiar with. And now they're open to communication, and they don't feel like it's salesy either, because they're asking for it. They're either clicking through on the social post, or they're asking you questions on the phone, or maybe you're doing this in an elevator. You can market yourself in an elevator, no problem. People ask you, oh, what do you do? Well, you know how when people are they're sore from doing yard work all summer long. Well, I help restore a lot of their mobility through massage therapy. And people get that. They're like, oh, yeah. And if that connects with them, then they'll ask more. Well, can I get your business card or something like that? Because, I definitely need that every once in a while. It's good to know that someone in my town is doing that. That's how you can actually present what it is that you're doing in an effortless way. And it doesn't come across as salesy, because again, people can relate to it. Their attention was captured and they're connected to what it is that you're saying. And if they don't connect, that's okay. Maybe that's just not the right time for them. Maybe it's just, maybe it's something that they're not interested in, and maybe it doesn't connect with them. Maybe they've got perfect fitness, and, when they shovel the sidewalk, they feel better than when they started. Who knows? Some people are like that, where it's like a workout to them. That's each their own. The key part of not sounding salesy is to not be attached to whether or not you get the sale. See, when you're presenting what it is that you're doing, typically speaking, you're educating them. And that is a good thing. And what's even better is that if you educate them, if you provide them with value in that communication section and they don't take action, you've set yourself up for a wonderful, wonderful relationship in the future. Because nobody, and I'm serious, folks, the number of people that actually properly market themselves is so minuscule that when you can do this properly and you communicate what it is that you're doing, people remember that They remember it forever. And when they consider, say for instance, they're considering finding a massage therapist, they will remember that conversation that you had with them, where you captured their attention, you connected with them, and you communicated everything that they needed to know, all in one effortless, easy motion, and in a way that their brain actually works. So you don't have to, you don't have to try to convince them what you're doing is going to help them. It's beautiful. One more second here. Just gonna- Okay. So if anybody has any comments, please feel free, ask questions. Now that we're like, that's the basics of the 4 C's: capture, connect, communicate, and close. When you can effectively do that, you are building relationships with people. And what's also easier for the people that you're speaking with, they are more inclined to share what it is that you're doing. They're going to get home and be like, "Yeah, I met this massage therapist today in the elevator, and man, she knows how to specifically target my deltoids when after I'm done shoveling. Next time, like last time I went and shoveled, man, that was a hard workout. I'm gonna give her a call." And you're sharing, and that person is now sharing what their experience was like with you. They haven't even had a massage yet, and they're already sharing what it is that you're doing. That's word of mouth. It's powerful. It's such a powerful, powerful way to share your intention of how you, it's your intention to be of service to others. So that is the major part of the work that we have as business owners. That is where the majority of our work is when it comes to communicating what we're doing. Now I know you've got the things that you need to do, the things that that's your business, the day-to-day management of the business, dealing with customers, doing the work, fulfillment obligations. That's all very, very important. But I mean, you aren't going to be able to do those things if you're not getting customers. And so this method, this allows this idea of using the 4 C's, this you're meeting people where they're at, right in their minds. You're not presenting what you're doing from some high lofty 30,000-foot view general messaging. Like you're getting very specific to people's needs as quickly as possible. And one of the things that some companies do, you may even experience this, is they'll actually send out a questionnaire and be like, "Whoa, tell us what's important to you." You probably noticed I did the same thing. I'm wanting to know what's most important for people, especially going into a transformational time. Our economy is transforming right now. The opportunities that are coming out are staggering. People get caught up though in how things have been. And so our job is to start connecting what they're experiencing with where we're headed. And so that's why you'll see in my emails, I'm always asking people, tell me what's important to you. Let me know how I can help you the most, because that's how I want to be of service. My offering is that I'm going to help people be free. And I mean that in every area of their lives. You know, tyranny is something that happens. We are familiar with the term tyranny. From a political standpoint. Oh, that's a tyrant. He's in charge, a dictator. But tyranny can come in other forms as well. We are typically tyrants against ourselves. We have a little tyrant in our mind that tells us we can or cannot do things, or it makes all kinds of meanings to what happens to us. And right now, a lot of people have a tyrant inside their mind saying they can't do this or they can't do that because the economy's in bad shape. And nothing could be further from the truth. That little tyrant is actually just trying to sabotage you. And that tyrant, it's not your fault. Like that tyrant is there even to protect you. Like it's not like it's evil. It's just holding you back in a lot of ways because it interprets what's going on with the economy as bad and then says because the economy's bad, people are less willing to give me money. No, no, no. That's not how it works. And that's just a little tyrant that's taking over and holding you back from your freedom. And oh, yeah, you're so very welcome. Thanks for coming. Um, you want that tyrant, again, in the past has probably even served you well, has even said, it saved you from possible harm or danger or embarrassment. But just because it worked that time doesn't mean it works all the time. And what I'm noticing as I'm talking to people right now, there's a lot of fear around their money. Like, oh, wow, I want to start a business, but, you know, going into an economy here that is not healthy, I'm not sure that I'd make a good go of it. I should probably do something else with my dollars. You can, for sure. And I can share with you other ways to use that money for your benefit. But we are headed into an economy where you aren't going to be paid unless you are fulfilling on an intention to be of service to others. I'm serious, folks. Like you've heard me talk about blockchain a little bit, cryptocurrencies and that kind of thing. I'm telling you, that is a gateway into a completely new economic model. And it's beautiful. It's actually extremely uh, powerful and it's encouraging. The possibilities, the horizon of possibilities are seemingly endless right now. But if you've got that mindset that we're in a bad economy, it's going to shift the opportunities that you see possible. And so we want to help you see that no, this is actually one of the best times to be starting something new, especially if you can get that mastery of communicating what your intention is. Back to asking questions. Within your sphere of influence, within your network, within your community, you can probably already start asking people, what is it that you value most going into this transitionary time? What do you feel is going to be most helpful for you? And you'll notice as you're asking, there are going to be common responses, and those common responses are opportunities. See, people want these problems to go away, and when people want problems to go away, they are they want to connect with people that they feel can help them. So when you capture their attention properly and you connect with them, they automatically are asking. They're going to be automatically saying, "Well, tell me more. Communicate more." That's a wonderful position to be in. It's in fact a position of influence. It's a position um, of respect, of honor. And you're kind of an expert automatically, simply by virtue of capturing their attention and connecting with them. It and then once you communicate, you've got them. And maybe not as a customer, but certainly as a word of mouth warrior. They're gonna love sharing what it is that you're doing with others because they're so encouraged by the fact that someone is there solving a problem that they are familiar with. It's wonderful. And so that's my intention. I'm not going to go much longer than this. Again, if you ask some questions if you want, but that's my intention going forward with this series of live presentations that we're going to be doing regarding building your own economy. Um, Again, like I say, if you would like to be on the call and we actually work with your business directly, that's going to be so much more helpful than me just being a talking head on YouTube Live. I would much rather have there be interaction. I'd much rather have there be, that that back and forth where we actually work practically on someone's business to help it develop so that we can get that message out there on how you intend to be of service to others. And then, of course, it's up to you to fulfill on that intention. To the degree that you fulfill on that intention is going to be the degree that you are compensated. And again, folks, don't look don't look at what's going on out there. That's not where we're headed. What's happening right now in the world is not where we're headed. That's where we're exiting. That's what we're leaving behind. There's so much potential and opportunity out there. Uh, yeah, if you want to hear about that, again, email me. I'll drop my email here in a comment. Um, this is the most amazing time for us to be alive, and I'm excited. I'm excited to hear stories from you as well that of what's working for you. But again, like I say, I would love to work on your business live because then you're getting help right away and get it for free. I mean, while I'm able to do this for free, take advantage because once things get, I would say, towards the end of this year and into January, February, things are going to get pretty busy, and I'm not going to have as much time to do these free events. So definitely take advantage of me as much as you possibly can. I'm still going to do free events. I just won't be able to do as many, and I'll probably have to leverage a lot of that off to other people who, are part of the community that also provide the same service. So again, thank you, everybody. Um, if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. I can't wait to hear the stories of how people are expanding their businesses and their consciousness in this whole transformational period. I just, it's so much fun. And when you have that sense of freedom for yourself, uh, man, life is a lot more fun. So, again, thanks a lot, and we'll talk to everybody later.